Lincoln's he's doing so good. He's in the top 82%.
Nice.
Great.
That's very great.
So proud of him. Different conversation if it was our daughter, but for him, we're so happy.
We're happy, yes.
Aw, no. Is the green light on? I don't want that song in my head.
Hall and Oates. I don't like the picture of his mustache in my head. We're green. Look at this.
Yep.
All right.
From what I can tell, it looks right.
I like the QR code. You can snap the agenda and the meeting materials like from the
Nice.
audience.
Nice.
That's cool. I looked it up the old-fashioned way. That's all right.
I figure people in
Same
the
here.
audience, if they're not used to coming to
Yeah,
meetings,
that's great.
it's faster to find.
And now that it's, I mean, we were using QR codes 5 years ago before it was integrated into your phone. You had to download an app that was a QR code reader. Now your camera is just like, are you looking at a QR code?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I tell you.
All those squiggles, they mean something.
Or to find it started one time, she'd say, zeros don't mean nothing.
Zeros, unless they're on the end. Then they mean something.
Depends on which end.
Yeah.
You want them on the right.
Especially the dollar
Yeah.
sign.
You want them on the right.
Is this it tonight?
He's out of town.
All right. I need some theater glasses so that I can read the second hand on the clock. It's a huge clock. It's 40-something, right? Say 40-something?
Yep, 48.
All right, 10 seconds out. Let's get ready to govern.
Yep.
Get the gavel warmed up. All right. I'll now call to order this meeting of the White House City Council for today, January the 25th, 2022. The time is 6 o'clock. Ms. Hargis, if you please call the roll.
Yes, sir. James Wansley.
Here.
Zach Briscoe. Georgia Harris.
Here.
Michael Lowe.
Here.
Keith Rosenstein.
Here.
And John Chambers. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. All right. Will you please stand if you're able and join Pastor Preston Proctor from the Hope Church as he leads us in prayer? Please approach, sir.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day that you've given us. We thank you for the opportunity to serve this community. I pray, God, that you would bless the men and women in this room as they lead with commitment. I pray, God, that the White House would always be a place that is unafraid and unashamed to put you at the priority and the center of everything we do. And God, I pray for blessings upon these men and women that are here. Bless their homes and their families. Give wisdom and understanding and knowledge as they lead. And God, under the leadership of these great men and women, I pray that it would be in White House as it is in heaven. We trust you and we honor you in everything we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pastor.
Please stand continue standing as we perform the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Well done. Please be seated. All right, that takes us to Section D, presentations. We have a recognition of Officer William Purcell for 30 years of service as a law enforcement officer. Chief Robeson, take it away, please, sir.
Fantastic.
Come here.
That's you.
So I had to have a talk with Mr. Purcell. I've known Percy since 1909, about something like that. So quite a while. I had to make sure that I didn't want to embarrass him, make him feel old. So he said I couldn't embarrass him if you are. He's a great guy. I want to tell you that I've known him a long time. He is a great Christian man. He's an honor to work with, an honor to have as a friend. Not only is he been serving different communities for 30 years, he is still at the top of his game. He's out here serving every day, working, and if you haven't met him yet, you're probably going to meet him. He is definitely out here trying to keep our city safe, and I greatly appreciate the work that he does. He's just an amazing guy. If we could have everybody like him, I tell you, we'd be a rock star for the place.
Yeah.
So a couple things. One thing is, a debate will say this, I'm going to say this. One thing I want to add in, he's also a Vietnam veteran. And that, my dad was a veteran, and that's a great, I really appreciate you serving and doing that.
That's right.
But he started his career officially August 1971. And yeah, that was 4 years before I was born.
And he looks younger.
But he's actually been serving in some form or fashion communities for over 50 years.
Wow.
And that says a lot just in a number in itself. Officially, according to TICO records, he has 30 years in this month. But there's some other time that he took off. He's retired a couple of times, and he did some other things. It's always been related to police work, whether in the civilian world or in the police world. So I felt a really need and want to just recognize the great work that he does. And I mean, 50 years, 30 years, that's a long time in any career, but to be serving the community for that long is just great. And I think it's a great honor and great privilege to have him as part of our team. So we have a little award for you. I try not to get fingerprints all over it. But just to recognize your 30 years of service, combined service to us and other communities throughout the state. Wow. It's kind of good.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I'll say I've had the pleasure of being.
Have you ever been stopped by him?
Anything to say, Officer Percy?
Yeah, it's an honor to work here. It's an honor to work for Paul Roberson because y'all got yourself a gym.
Yeah.
And I can say that because I've been in his position for a long time, years ago. And it's not an easy place to be. But it's a great place to work. They're all good people. I enjoy being here, and I'm going to try to stay as long as my health holds out anyway.
Awesome.
Well, officer, I've appreciated your counsel when I was at the dunking booth. You were there by my side, telling me you've been there before and you made it through it. It was good. And then when we were talking to the kids over at Brown Elementary, and you were Santa with a gun belt, that was the highlight of my year. That was good stuff. So.
In a Santa Claus suit. To
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for your service, and 30 years is admirable. Yeah, especially in this. You definitely have a heart for it. We appreciate having you.
Yeah, it's something that I wanted to do since I was 8 years old. And I got to do it.
You're one of the few. Get to follow their dreams. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, man, that's a great way to start a meeting. That takes us to item E, community interest. There's some items of note on the screen here. Would you like to run through these, Mrs. Black?
Sure. Mayor and Council, this Thursday will be the Chamber of Commerce annual banquet and the first ever State of the City given by Mayor Wansley at that event. So we're excited about that. February 21st, just a little ways out, will be President's Day, so non-emergency offices for the city will be closed. And then March 26th is going to be full of events with the Farmers Market opening day. Keep White House Beautiful is doing their annual Don't Mess with Texas Trash Off that day. And it will be opening day for all of our baseball and softball teams out at the sports complex. So it'll be a big, busy day. That's all I have.
All right, yeah, great times coming up. Yeah, some of us excited and some of us are nervous about the State of the City address, so it's going to be a good time. Tickets still available. Get them now. 6 o'clock on Thursday, January the 27th. We will see you there. All right, that takes us to Item F, public forum. I don't see anybody signed up for public forum, is that correct?
So that's correct.
All right, so we'll skip down to item G, which is the consent agenda. There are a couple of items on the consent agenda, the approval of minutes from the previous meetings and a quarterly investment report. So if the items on the consent agenda are going to remain there, I'll entertain a motion to approve it as presented.
Second.
And a motion from Councilwoman Harris and a second from Councilman Rosenstein. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. All right, that takes us to item H, other action items, ordinances, resolutions, and public hearings. Number 1 is an update on the creation of a safe exchange zone. Chief Robeson, I believe that's on you as well.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I gotta start off by saying, I think we're going viral. It's 200 shares in an hour. So I posted this right before 5 o'clock this afternoon about our safe space, and it is getting very, very good response. I'm very happy with that. Let me go back a little bit and give you a little bit of quick detail on this. About a year ago, we were working on some grant opportunities, and we saw a need to try to repair or update some of our systems, including our camera systems. And I was told today, actually, when we back up to the very beginning of this, the idea came from Sergeant Dobbs about creating a safe zone. And so here we are about a year later. The grant helped fund this, and it's not something that a lot of police departments have. I've been doing some research around here. There's one in Palestine and one in Longview, and I'm sure there are others as well. Those are the ones that I could find pretty quickly. So we have one here now officially in place. It's out in front of our police station. And the reason why this is so important is because we're seeing more and more purchases online, Facebook, Marketplace, Craigslist, and all the other ones that are out there. We're exchanging things through those markets, and you're meeting people you don't know anymore. It's not the people in your neighborhood necessarily. It's somebody maybe even from other cities that are coming here to pick up the item. We probably all have sold stuff. I've tried to sell stuff. I've tried to sell something, and somebody wants to scam me. There's an opportunity for criminals. When they find an opportunity, they're going to try to take it up and seek, and not necessarily to hurt, but maybe to take advantage of a situation. And so this will help alleviate it, because if you're in front of a police station, you're probably not going to have a criminal show up. It really cuts that down. The second thing that most people don't deal with, and we really don't have a lot of issues with, but there are times divorces don't work out very well, and there's a need to exchange children, and maybe there's some uncomfortableness, and that allows an opportunity to also do that in a safe place. Again, it's all recorded. We're willing to stand by if we need to, but most of the time we won't have to, because it eliminates the need for that. So it's taken off very well. I'm very excited about it. Captain Pearson has been behind the entire process of setting up the grant, working the grant. He looked up how to do this and designed it all, and we got out there one day and painted it up. And so very little cost to the city, and I think it's going to take off. It's getting really good response, so very proud of it. Do you have any questions?
This is so interesting to me, because I've seen for a while people will say, like, they'll go ahead and put in their posting that to meet it at a police department, and I've always thought that is probably so annoying for police officers, but this sends a message that no, it's not, that we prioritize your safety, and we would rather be a little annoyed by you taking a parking spot, but being safe.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our whole goal, is to keep people safe.
Yeah.
And that's what we were here for. We would rather you come here and meet. We're not. One thing I do want to make a note of: during the day, it's a little bit easier to meet with people. During the evening, it's not quite as easy. So anybody that wants to do it's going to need to kind of schedule it so we can.
But
make
still knowing that
arrangements.
it's monitored with the cameras is
Right.
amazing.
And there's multiple cameras in many different directions, so it's very, very good.
This is really nice.
I like the proactive way you did this. Excellent job. Excellent.
Well, I have a great team.
Good. Yep.
So this is recorded 24/7. You said
Correct.
we got lights on it 24/7.
Correct.
Question: liability wise, are we always staffed in that area 24/7?
We always have officers on duty, 24 hours. We run 24 hours a day. We don't always have office staff. We work office hours.
So question, is there a button or is there some type of safety switch that if something does, even though they're in the safe exchange zone, if something happens, that there's something that they can run to or push or something that will call somebody and say, hey, something's happening in this area? Just think as a liability for our city.
So we have the phone number posted, and of course 911 and things like that. And again, if there's a situation where they feel like there's going to be an unsafe, call us ahead of time. We're glad to meet. But as far like I think of a college situation where there's call box, there's not anything like that there. If anybody's uncomfortable, call ahead or do it while we're there, and that's the best way to keep it safe. I would not want anybody to meet up and then get in a situation. I would rather let's plan it ahead of time. So yeah, that's the best way to handle that.
And there's no fee to
No.
plan ahead of time?
No, not a fee at
for the
all.
public? Okay.
No, just need to try to schedule and understand that things happen. So we've always got to have contingencies, but we'll be glad to meet with you. Definitely the best times during the day, business hours. Right.
Don't try to tip the officers if they come out.
I think this is great. I mean, I like it because it's not like you're mimicking any department. You're taking a proactive place with White House and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. You know, good job.
Yeah, I would imagine quite a bit of property theft these days is coming from these exchanges where people have something expensive and they're just saying, they just take the money and leave, right?
Yeah, that happens. I've heard of other stories, worst case scenario of robberies, or you may have counterfeit money in exchange. There's a lot of things that can happen in the situation. Just uncomfortable.
Right.
There's just a lot that goes on, and this will help alleviate a lot of that. And we want people to feel safe and comfortable when they're doing things like this.
Yeah, this
We
is,
don't want it to. It's a good thing for society. There's just a few people that ruin it for everybody.
Do we have, like displayed, your own camera, or is there a sign?
There's a sign posted out front.
Yeah.
That this is the zone. It's all marked off.
Yeah.
And I've made lots of posts, but I don't want to necessarily post here at the camera.
Yeah.
But there's multiple cameras posted out there from different angles.
yeah, on my triathlon days, I would buy $2,000 bicycles, $1,200 bicycles, and I'd have them meet me at Cracker Barrel. Like, if it was in Waco,
True.
if it was in Tyler, everybody has
Yeah.
a big Cracker Barrel with a big parking lot, and it's always busy. So,
Good
I mean, that's what I was going for. I was going for this, is exactly what I wanted. I wanted a bunch of eyes on the transaction, so this is a great thing to have in our city.
Yeah,
And it's really future-facing and forward-thinking approach to it.
and the other side also, it's not just limited to the people here in White House. If somebody's in the area, come by here.
Right.
We're here to help everybody.
It's excellent.
All right, thank you.
And one of these things, like, we wouldn't be able to do this but for that fence that we put in. Like, we wouldn't be comfortable having these people that close to the building, so it's something that putting up a fence, keeping our property safe, opens this area up to the community. So just shows that was another good decision.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Chief. Any more questions for the
Thank you.
Chief?
I'll just add, that was a highly competitive grant last year that Captain Pearson wrote and has followed through with. So great job to
Excellent.
him
Yeah.
for pursuing that and staying on top of all of the reporting requirements that come with it. So great job to him too.
Thank you, sir. All right. So that takes us down to item number 2, discuss and consider the report from City Manager on the status of priority projects from 2022.
Mayor and Council, it seems a little strange to me to be giving you an update on 2022 projects when we're only 25 days in, but I feel like we've made a lot of progress on some things that I wanted to update you on. So the first on our project list, which was included in the packet, is our welcome for new residents. As I mentioned kind of before the meeting, Stephanie and I worked together on that to prepare it. I think the digital version is in your packet, but there's a print version here too if you're interested in seeing that. So we'll be handing those out to new water customers when they sign up for water service in the lobby. We've also put it on our website under the Moving to White House section for anybody that may be interested in pulling it up before they sign up for water service. So that's available. The next item on my list was emergency management. Chief Johnson gave an update on that at our last meeting. We continue to work on that, and I think we've found some proactive ways and productive ways for Chief Johnson to be more plugged into the Smith County Emergency Operations Center when they hold their meetings. So that was a great outcome of our meeting with Jay Brooks and the Texas Division of Emergency Management that we held a few weeks ago. On our facilities plan, we have received current floor plans for all of our facilities. That was a big undertaking for our consultant to come out and measure and get all of those drawn up. And so our kind of next step, we need to start thinking about what we want the use for 109 East Main to be, and putting together kind of a stakeholder group to understand what all the needs are. So Mayor Wansley and I will probably be getting together to take a look at what that committee may look like and what who those stakeholders are as we move forward.
You'd say they're about 30, it shows 33% complete on that facility plan, is that?
Yeah, they had it broken down into 3 sections, and getting the current condition was a big chunk of that. So what I'm waiting on now for current condition is the condition assessments for all of those facilities.
Okay.
I'm hoping those will be in the next week or two, and then we'll be at that 33%. So I need to reduce that down just a little bit. But
As a part of that, are they capturing some of the proposed, are they gonna go through the process of helping us identify what the actual uses could be, given the square footage that we have, the facilities and the
Yes.
needs? So, okay, that's part of that.
yeah, so they're kind of at the point to where they need some direction from us on 109 East Main so that we can start thinking about future use for that. But for me, until we know what the gaps are in our current facilities,
We
it's
won't
hard to
know,
say
yeah, we
what
won't know
those
what's
are.
going
So
on there,
we're
right?
kind of working through that a little bit. Everything's just taking longer these days, so.
To me, that building is just an item in inventory to be considered with, you know, how we're gonna assign square footage pretty much to the needs that we have. Yeah,
Yeah, we're looking at maybe adding uses as opposed to covering the gaps that we have.
adding what now?
Adding uses and potentials
uses,
at that building.
okay.
But we'll kind of work through that, but kind of wanted to give you an update on where we are so far.
Yeah, that's great.
One other thing the next item that I wanted to have on your radar for the year, we are due for a Home Rule Charter Review Committee to be formed, to take a look at our Home Rule Charter that's statutorily required every 5 years, and so we're at the 5-year mark. So what I would like to do is start soliciting applicants, as we've done for other boards and commissions. We'll start pushing that information out, and hopefully maybe we could have a committee appointed, I don't know, end of February, first meeting in March, so.
And that can be anybody in the city?
Yes. All right, Parks and Trails Plan, you all have heard me mention this a couple of times that we need to get moving forward on that. So now that we have some of the other things in place, we'll start drafting an RFP or an RFQ or request for qualifications for those services and start looking at engaging a firm to help us with that process. Economic Development Strategic Plan, we continue to work on getting a quote to kind of refine that scope in a way that we can manage. We've got a meeting with an individual about something else coming up in February, and so I will be approaching them about getting us a quote on how we do that. One of the things that Stephanie has really been helping with, and Susan as well, is planning the business after hours for TABA that the EDC wants to have. That's the Tyler Area Builders Association. We've got some things kind of narrowed down in a direction. It'll probably be August or September before we can get that done. The TABA's calendar is full until then, so that'll give us plenty of time to finish getting materials together. Susan's worked really hard on identifying large available parcels or vacant parcels in the city. And then Stephanie has kind of been working through logistics, catering, and location, and some of those things.
Guest speaker, they usually have somebody that's a subject matter expert in some adjacent field that's there.
So we're gonna work through some of that, attend a few, and then kind of further refine our plans for that.
Gotcha.
The audit, Jennifer Lusk, our finance director, has been working closely with Golub Morgan and Petty on finalizing our fiscal audit for 2021. Yes. And so they've had some staffing challenges just like everybody else, and so we're currently waiting on them to get back to us, but so far it's progressing smoothly. Capital Improvement Plan development, I would like to, at the same time that we go out for Home Rule Charter Review Committee members, maybe solicit some volunteers to do our capital improvement planning. We need to develop a much stronger capital improvement plan going forward to look at our expenditures, not just for this year, but the next 5 years.
Yeah, so if you had a rent house, you would set aside so much money per month to help replace the the HVAC eventually, and the floors and the paint, yeah, that type of approach. Way harder to do at a city level, I understand.
Yeah, so, I mean, just, and it's everything, that a city would touch. So just this morning, Jeff Tomlin, our Director of Public Works, is saying, you know, our wastewater treatment plant, when we built it, it was good for 30 years. Well, we're 15 years into that 30 years. Well, that's one of the largest expenditures you can undertake. So,
On our, the new GIS program that we just got, that should help out with that quite a bit, from
It
what I
will.
understand, right?
yes, yeah. So once we get to the point where they're inputting condition assessments for those, it'll help us track it over time, kind of as we go forward, especially with when we need to start looking at replacing those things.
So that'll be part of this then, having them track those conditions on there?
Where do they draw the line, the facilities plan? What's the definition of a facility for them?
So facilities included buildings, so it was the rec, the library, the building next door, City Hall, Police Department, this building, 109 East Main, the fire station, and the Public Works barn. So it's
So it'll be the
not-
roof, the HVAC, all the stuff for
Yes.
those things?
Yes,
Okay,
and
I
so once that is done, we can pull those things in that plan into our capital improvements plan, but your capital improvements plan will include everything from, restrooms at the sports complex to 8-inch water mains to 2-inch water mains to
Yeah.
storm sewers to wastewater systems, so, it's kind of your overarching document for everything that the city owns, so. Each part, like your facilities plan, will have a piece in the capital improvements plan, your parks plan has a piece in the capital improvements plan, kind of is how that works.
That's great.
A lot of plans.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're working with.
And then the next item is the Parks Nonprofit Formation. That group met Saturday, about, a week ago, 10 days ago
Yes.
now. And is working on their paperwork. That's one of the things Stephanie is helping with, is kind of looking over their IRS documentation application, to make sure that they have everything that they need to move forward with that. So she's kind of wrangling that effort and making sure all of the I's are dotted and T's are crossed before that paperwork gets submitted. But they do have a website set up, right, Mayor? For the
Yes,
Parks
it's
Foundation?
WTPRF.org. White House, Texas Parks and Rec Foundation.org.
We have linked that under our community organizations on our city website. So that is available and out there. I was gonna see. The next item is police Texas best practices. Chief Robeson and his team in the police department have been working diligently on auditing the property room, and kind of getting all of those records up to date and in a way that they can audit it much more easily going forward. So that is exciting. They continue to make progress on that. I will tell you, most departments take 2 to 3, I guess 2 years is your limit from the application period, and I know y'all set a goal of 18 months to get that done, so, that is a 25% reduction in what it normally takes, so.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like much until you start going through, I don't remember how many policies, practices, and things that they check, it's several hundred.
About 300.
Yeah,
Ugh.
things that they have to self-report on. So it's a huge undertaking that they have taken on. All right, the next item is the fiber feasibility study. As I mentioned, we met with them probably about 10 days ago now, and they are working on it. We are gonna meet with them again on Friday. The mayor and I did have a great call with the East Texas Council of Governments and their broadband initiative last week and how we can plug into that. So we've identified them as a stakeholder and we'll be continuing to work hopefully together to push those projects forward.
Yeah, we described what we're doing, and they said that is exactly what we wanted to hear. I was like, well, good, because that's what we're doing. So it sounds like we're a good fit for the regional
Yes.
organization that they have there.
Provide some good partnership opportunities, and we'll need a good, strong regional effort when we start applying for additional funding sources. So that was a positive meeting with them on Friday.
Yeah.
Fire engine replacement, the truck's been ordered, the equipment has been ordered, and financing has been complete for that. So now we're just kind of waiting on the vendor, and that'll be in, like, again, an 18-month process. If you'll remember, during our council retreat, once we kind of got past the compensation and classification plan for our staff, we're gonna start working on a staffing plan and hope to have that to you as part of the budget discussions for next fiscal year. So staff internally is working on what that looks like going forward. Oh, this should have been on my community interest items. The city and EDC will host a chamber networking breakfast on February 17th for Chamber of Commerce members. and that will be at 109 East Main. That's another project that Stephanie has been working on.
Is that something new?
Huh?
Is that something new? Do we normally do that?
It'll be similar to the one that Southside Bank hosted with the police officers.
Yep.
So I know they try to hold something monthly. I don't know when the last time, with COVID, I don't know when the last time we hosted one may have been. So excited to get those started again. Another project that has come out of the Interagency Council is a volunteer and community event newsletter. Stephanie will be putting that together monthly. It'll follow a similar format as our weekly wrap-up newsletter. But we'll provide an opportunity and maybe more information on how people can volunteer within our community and community events that they may want to attend. So right now I kind of keep our weekly wrap-up limited to just either our events or very closely related community organization efforts, and so this one will be a little bit more open to school events or any other organizations that would like their information put out there. So we're excited to get that underway. Hopefully the first one will be coming out no later than March 1st. Is her goal.
What did you say on the fiber feasibility study? Did you go over that? Do we have any more
East Texas
updates?
Council of Governments, we met with them. Great regional effort to partner with what they're doing. They said it was exactly what they wanted to hear. I have not met again with Cobb Finley.
April
We're meeting
10th.
with them on
is-
Friday.
Yeah,
April 10th is their
looking like.
90-day
April 10th.
Yeah.
goal. So.
Okay,
But
so we
there's-
won't hear anything else from you on that from Finley until April 10th? is what
No.
I'm hearing?
I will provide updates to you on my Friday update. I meet with Cobb Finley again on Friday morning.
Okay.
So I'll have more information for you Friday, kind of on where we stand.
Okay.
Safe exchange zone, you just heard from Chief Robeson about that. Park wayfinding signs. Mayor Wansley and Mrs. Wansley helped develop these
Yes.
park wayfinding signs that we'll be posting outside of the park right here next door. And that's in partnership with Net Health, who will provide the funding for the boards for them to be mounted on. So we're hoping to get those put up soon. Those have also been added. I don't know if they've been added to our website. We'll get them added if we haven't already.
I don't think they have it.
And then the last project on the list is the Youth Community Council. The Youth Community Council has identified a project to do a Veterans Memorial adjacent to White House ISD's administration building, and I know they met with an engineer and a potential donor for that project last week, so they're excited and moving forward on that.
They gave themselves a pretty aggressive deadline. They want it ready for the grand opening by Memorial Day.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
So phase one at least, you know,
Good.
depending on what they can get, it's either gonna be crushed granite walkways with a concrete pillar with, you know, the kneeling soldier or the soldier's cross, which is the M16 in the boots with a hat on it. They just gotta figure out which way they wanna go there. But they're at least gonna try to get that done. If the donors come fast and heavy, they do concrete walkway, and a little bit more beautification around there, but they're doing great. That group is doing amazing. They have a great mayor. He's able to delegate a lot of that stuff out to those group members, and they're just taking it on. So he tries to do as little as he can hands-on, other than create relationships and push them on. So it's admirable that he's got that skill already. And partnering, reaching out to anybody that they can partner with. They opened a door for us from the school district to have it on those grounds. We were kind of striking out, and we were going around looking at different places to put it. It seemed like it was just not ideal. You know, the traffic was low, the real estate was low, something was just not lining up.
I'm amazed. I mean, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
Just
that
tell
was-
me where to send my check. I mean, I just love it. I think it's a wonderful thing for our city.
Yeah, they're going to be cashing your check. You can guarantee that. Yeah, it's ideal. Right there, just north of where our flagpoles are, is a big open space there.
good
With a lot of old, that public works stones around there. It's beautiful. It's a great place to memorialize our veterans for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of traffic. So
High
nobody's
visibility.
gonna, high visibility, no vandalization, you know. So that'll be great.
And then they're also gonna attend the statewide youth conference in February. So just like we have, the Texas Municipal League puts on their annual conference, Texas Municipal League also puts on a similar conference for youth groups, and so they'll be attending that in February, and I know they're excited. One thing that I didn't have on here, because I wasn't sure if I would have it in on time, is the annual report. As you all know, we've been working to produce the 2021 annual report for the city, and I picked them up today.
Hot off the presses.
Right.
Hot off the presses. So we will have these available at
Oh,
the
nice.
Chamber of Commerce annual banquet on Thursday. And we'll have a few extras here at City Hall after that event. So take a look. You're all in it. So thank you for sending me your photos and your quotes. So this is the first one we've put together. So we're glad to get that out of the way.
You should have had more text on your page, and your picture would have been smaller. Is that what you're looking at? If you'd have given like 8 sentences of text, you'd have had a smaller picture.
Can we do some general comments?
Absolutely, yeah.
First off, the population growth of this city is probably incredible in the last 10 years. Isn't that right, Ms. Black? I mean, 1,500 some odd, 1,200.
I'd have to pull up.
A
the
lot of,
census
that's phenomenal.
15, 17%, something like that over 10 years.
That's a pretty big deal. I love the forward thinking. It just seems like we just keep thinking forward, and that's so enlightening. It really is. Also the welcome packet. Why not make it easy? When I came here, I didn't know who to call for electric, water, vote, cable, schools, internet. I mean, why not make it easy? And that's what we're doing. You know, so bravo again. Let's see, the safe zone, again, hats off to the PD, great forward thinking. You know, I always like to say, well, I don't like to necessarily do what another city's doing. I like to do something that's unique, and bravo, great job. The volunteer opportunities, I know Tyler does an unbelievable job with volunteer opportunities, and we could too. I think, you know, there's certain things that you can't do, and you're not able to be privy on information, but there's a ton of things that could be, you know, volunteer wise. So again, thanks. Good job.
How was the turnout for the breakfast at Southside with the police chief?
Thought it was good.
Was it?
Yeah. Really good turnout.
30 to 40?
At least 30.
Yeah.
Is that something that you think we'll try to do more of, or similar?
As far as with police officers or just chamber networking events in general?
With the police?
It's something I would like to do maybe once a year.
Okay.
It tends to draw the same people over and over if you do it a lot.
Okay.
But I think it's good to do it once a year. That was originally our plan back when we did that, and Southside stepped up and decided that we would do it as a joint thing.
Okay.
It's a good thing to reach out.
All right, anything else?
You got that group picture? Did anybody post that? No? Okay.
Oh, yeah, the chamber.
Chamber
Yeah,
of Commerce.
the,
I saw it somewhere. Where did I see that?
Police one. Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce posted it.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
did
on
they?
their website. Yeah,
Okay,
it's on their
good.
Is there a
website.
picture where y'all have me, like, it's awkward and I'm in the center?
You gotta be more specific.
Was that the one?
There's, all of them are that way.
It's,
All right, so if there's nothing else left on, item H2, the
So this-
priority projects?
This is nice, but what, do you hand this out? Is this,
So we'll have that available at the chamber annual banquet on Thursday.
oh, nice.
This
And,
is,
uh,
this
It'll be at every
is so
place.
good.
The state of the city will loosely follow this, so it'll kind of go through the topics that are in here
So
and dig a little bit deeper.
Impressive. Yes.
Yeah, you did a great job
Yes,
putting it together.
really did.
I don't know how the mayor got 2 photos in there though.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of.
It's gonna have some perk to be
Right,
there.
right.
Not sure that's a perk, but.
Congrats, man.
is it the same photo twice again?
Probably. I mean, it's at the beginning and the
only
end,
that
so you
one,
can't
so.
tell, right?
Oh, yeah, we gotta diversify your.
I'll
Well,
take more
maybe you
photos.
can flip it
We're gonna put you remember that flannel boards? You could just,
Yeah,
you would
that'd
just
be
put a
good.
flannel on.
and go plaid.
Yeah.
All right, so that takes us to item H3, consider future agenda items. here are some items that are on the agenda for next time. So if you don't see what you would like to discuss on there, feel free to let us know.
That says January 22nd. It'll be February 22nd, not January.
Development items?
We have a few items that are pending in planning and zoning, and depending on the outcome of that meeting, we'll determine if they move forward for your February 22nd meeting.
Ah, gotcha.
Alright.
All right, council, anything you'd like to add to that agenda for the next meeting?
We do meet on the 8th though, right?
Yes.
Okay, those are just gonna be,
Yeah, planning and zoning won't meet between now and the 8th. They meet the week after, the 15th.
gotcha.
They meet on the 15th.
Perfect.
Those won't move until the 22nd.
Okay.
All right. So this takes us to item I, administrative reports. We received the reports from staff. Everything is trending up.
Coming up. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah.
Permits continued. So,
The
Let's see here.
yeah, the city didn't follow the same trend line as my 401k in January. That's reassuring. We've somehow able to stabilize ourselves against the market.
Sales tax is always an eye-opener for me, and I'm impressed. Wow.
Sales tax collections were strong, permit receipts were strong. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, our sales tax makes up for what percentage of our tax base, you think? Is it 20%? It's somewhere around there. I know the two numbers, they're just combined right here. If Jennifer was here, she would know down to the third decimal spot. It was something I was thinking about when I was doing the State of the City, because our city doesn't follow the same model as other cities like Lindale, who get a really high portion of their total sales tax from, or total tax base from sales tax, because they have a really strong retail presence. They don't have the same level of competition from Tyler that we do, because we're on the south side of Tyler.
Very true. Yeah. Very good point. But we're trending just another like 15% more this year, or
It's 10% year over year, the sales tax base grows.
yeah.
And that's with us moving some of those sales tax over to the EDC. So it probably would have been closer to 11 or 12% the last year.
Which is pretty dang good.
Yeah, it's compound interest too, so it's
Yeah.
10% adding each year, so that's pretty impressive.
I wonder if that's due to population increase, or is it all the above, brick and mortar, more people doing internet ordering, or
Combination.
Just
of
everything.
A whole lot of things.
Yeah.
More rooftops, more retail opportunities, sales tax sourcing laws have changed, more internet shopping. I don't know that you could single it out to any one of those things. It's a combination of all of them
But
together.
that's with the state of Texas kind of putting a damper on the amount of money that can be collected off home valuations going up, right? Did that 5% cap, like 5% cap took effect?
Are you
this-
talking about property tax?
Yeah, property tax on that one.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, it should have. Yeah.
Right.
I think those were in effect for last year's appraised values.
Yeah,
don't
I
they
think so
made
too. Yeah, so even with that, it's great. We're growing more than the rate of inflation, I think,
exactly.
year over year, so.
Good point, Mayor.
So over the next couple of months, we'll see those property tax collections that were due January 31 start coming in from the county.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, my goodness. That's without those?
This is the 2020, this is the current year line right here at the tip of my mouse.
Oh, I see. I got it confused with the 5-year because it's,
So these are December reports. So
Yes.
this is, so we expect to see a similar spike right here for the current year once we close out January, get into February.
yeah, I got nervous. I paid mine early,
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
Just an example.
So you can tax them.
That's right.
All right, any more questions on the reports from staff? We got figures coming in from,
When you look at tax collections here for the general fund, so we are year to date at about 1 million, when we have budgeted about 2.7. So I would say that we're trending positively when you take into consideration that that doesn't account for most of our property tax collections, and only, to remember, December 3 months of sales tax collections. So we're in good, strong financial shape
wow.
on the revenue side for sure.
I agree. I mean, it's, you know, we're, everywhere you look in this city, we're having houses being built everywhere, which is so encouraging. But yet we're holding down, I think, our cost, you know, so, you know.
Yeah, so when we talk staffing plan,
I
don't be
know.
surprised,
Right.
you know,
I know.
as the rooftops grow, so does demand for services.
That's
So
true.
we've gotta keep up on the staffing
True.
end, to keep being a forward-thinking,
I know.
moving forward organization, so that's the struggle, you know, that's the balance. And
Yeah.
that's why you're here, is to decide how that balance falls, so as we continue to grow, we do have a continued demand for services.
True.
It's great to see the trend of our tax rate, you know, the levy, the 0.79 cents that we've had has been steady
True.
since 2018, but we're still getting that 10-11% growth year over year. So it's not because we're raising taxes, it's because we're growing financially as a community. And with that, we have crime numbers in here, right?
Yeah, I
So-
have a question, Chief.
Go ahead.
Asterisk assault increase related to family violence cases, is that stemming from the beginning of the pandemic when we saw a spike in family violence? Like, is that a continuation of that, or what's going on?
Which page?
Well,
It's on this very first crime report page.
Oh, the 2021 crime report.
It's hard to say, there's
Oh, yeah,
not
the first one
necessarily
under-
a trend
Yeah, there you go.
per se.
Yeah.
With family violence there could be a lot of different factors in that. It could be, we had a lot of going on like last year. I think we had, school was out and a lot. It could be just a whole lot of things. The stress of life could cause more of it. It could be that it's just being reported more. It's hard to, there's not one item that I can put my finger on. Another way to put it is when we have a string of burglaries and I know this is what's caused that. There's not a particular reason behind it in this case. It could be, I guess easy ways, it could just be anything.
You gotta lock up the cars.
You have to lock.
You've got to do it, you know.
Do we need to create a marketing campaign to remind people to lock their cars?
Or at least take your guns
There
out
are
of them.
several-
Take your guns out of them?
Yeah.
We remind people as often as we can.
Yep.
Yeah, there are several campaigns nationwide, and, you know, take headlock, 9 PM routine.
Well, and so, like, I mean, my son parks at the end of our driveway. So many people in some of our neighborhoods, that's just the reality is they're parking in streets and far down, and it's just, it's easy target
It is.
where there's opportunity. We gotta look.
Yeah, it is. Oh.
Yeah, and suspicious is the largest call volume
I
it looks
saw
like
that.
that we have.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit.
Yeah, and the
Animal complaint.
community policing goes a
Yeah,
long way. You
yeah.
hear Chief Robeson say, if you see something suspicious, report it, you know? That way,
How have the calls gone since the legislation went into effect for chaining dogs?
I haven't seen
Okay.
anything change.
I assumed you would just have every busybody calling to let you know.
I don't know that I've seen a big response yet. The first couple of days, I know that the Smith County Animal Control had a whole bunch,
Yeah.
but there's an easier number to find.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see some as time goes on. We'll see some more reporting. It wasn't like a huge spike.
That's good.
is there still an adoption opportunity for a certain black lab that's at the police station?
Not anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great story. That puppy found a home. That's great. All right. Anything else on the reports from staff? Any more feedback or questions?
We got a lot of speeders in this area, it seems like.
Not anymore. They got caught.
1874.
They've been stroking them.
1974, that's quite a bit of,
Is that the December number?
that's the total for the year. 176 in school zone. They were busy this morning, FYI. Y'all were very busy this morning. I saw
They were not only busy in the
Lights
morning,
all
they were
over,
busy this
thank you.
afternoon.
Officer Purcell,
No tolerance in the school zone, man.
Right.
and Officer Hooper.
Lincoln had a friend get hit in the school zone walking to school one day.
Wow.
It's awful.
It is.
I remember that. That was at Holloway, over by Holloway?
Yeah, but he was on the sidewalk crossing the driveway.
He
And it
was
was a
riding
parent
his
trying.
bike.
He was on his bike, and the parent was trying to just just haul out of the driveway, and did not even look.
I know.
He was okay. That's why we're laughing.
I'm curious, Chief, on the speeding tickets, do you have stats or data? Does it show that most of those speeders that we're stopping, are they pass through transients, or are they living here in our city?
I don't have the data on that. It could be pulled, but it'd be pretty difficult. But it's something if you're wanting me to look into.
If it's not a lot, I'd like to know. Yeah.
Let me look into it and we'll get you.
Okay.
Is any of that information shared with the superintendent or the schools in any way?
Not unless he's asked, and we haven't had any conversation.
We've had success in the past when we share it with them and they're coming from the staff. There's a lot of proactive corrective action taken in that regard. Does that make sense?
Right, I'm not sure who is the ones that are being stopped, but that's something to look at. That's a
Okay.
good point to see if they're. I'd have to look at ages on it. I don't know.
I mean, if it's, I remember hearing something about that early on in council.
I know that our forgot the initials. Our Hogan, who works at school, SRO, does a lot of proactive work, especially in the parking
Okay.
lots.
Gotcha.
Because I saw somebody driving a little dangerous and pointed. I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what it is. So I know there's some proactive work that's going on in the schools.
Yeah, like, so Acrotap, people don't park out on the streets. So it's just two wide lanes. It's like, it looks like somewhere you would drive fast down. And people catch themselves, sometimes.
We also have another plug-in for us. We'll put the speed trailer out in different locations. We've had pretty good success over here with it. I was concerned people thought, oh, you're putting in front of City Hall. Well, it's actually for that school zone. People are coming through there.
Right.
Even, I can have that out there and officers still working, still being forced to speed. So I can definitely move it around as needed if anybody has any suggestions.
Yeah.
Chief, in front of Brookshire's on 110, you're working to try to perhaps get the speed down, maybe from 45 to 35.
I'm
Wait,
working-
what?
That's, speed limits are controlled by TxDOT.
Right.
100%. I am working to get a speed survey put in the area.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with it.
Yeah.
We have to do a survey before we do anything.
I think what you're going towards is one day that intersection will be a pedestrian crosswalk.
Big time.
That might have to happen before the speed comes down. Like, that's just the order of operation. Like, it'll happen at the same time.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because right now, it's not a pedestrian crossing, and it's not a pedestrian crossing because there's no sidewalks that lead up to it. So TxDOT's like, obviously, this is not a pedestrian crossing, or you guys would have sidewalks. So it's almost like that whole thing.
Corridor,
It's
yeah.
dominoes, the whole thing of dominoes.
And number
will
of
come down.
crashes in that area.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my concerns. for
Oh, I know.
Dangerous areas.
I appreciate
Right.
you.
I like it when you move the speed trailer around, and it's like in the morning. I'm like, oh, there it is. It's like whack-a-mole.
It'd be great if it said your name, if it could scan
It
your,
would.
scan
Yeah.
your
There you
place.
go.
Councilwoman
Yes.
Harris.
Georgia, slow down.
That's
Hurry,
coming.
Councilwoman. All right. Anything else on the reports from staff and council? All right.
No, I like seeing the delivered meals though. 640.
Yeah, that's a great organization. Meals on Wheels is always
They
looking
do
for
so
more
much
people.
more than you'd ever think they
Yeah.
could do out of there.
They have a pretty small service area, so if you go up there and deliver with them, you'll be delivering to people here in the city. It's a great
Lincoln
opportunity.
helps every now and then because our neighbor's on that board, but it's a neat place to volunteer for. Just
I heard
even if
they-
you wanna do a few hours a month.
Yeah, I heard they could use some empty egg cartons and plastic bags, like Brookshire bags or
Oh
whatever
my gosh, are you
bags.
serious?
So yeah, if you ever get any
Because Proctor's
extras,
doesn't have those bins out front anymore to recycle those,
Correct,
so I've
correct.
stockpiled.
yes, they
Thank
could use
you.
them. Keep White House beautiful. You can thank for that. Yes,
Thank you.
our meeting yesterday.
I will, absolutely do that.
And also that Hank Senior Center is in our facilities plan. I didn't mention that in the facilities.
That's
there.
right, but
Oh,
we're not allowed
good.
to touch it unless we give them more cinder blocks to put underneath their flooring, right?
We're gonna consult with them on options.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're certainly a stakeholder in whatever our future plans will be.
Good.
All right, so if there's nothing else on item I1, that moves us to item J. And pursuant to Chapter 551 Texas Government Code, the City Council reserves the right to convene an executive session from time to time as deemed necessary during this meeting. City Council may convene an executive session to discuss any or all of the following topics: pending or contemplating litigation to seek the advice of the city attorney pursuant to Section 551.071, possible purchase, exchange, lease, value of real estate pursuant to Section 551.072, personnel matters pursuant to Section 551.074, economic development negotiations pursuant to Section 551.087. We will be meeting for item number 1 here to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of the real property in the Town Center Main Street TCMS zoning on East Main Street pursuant to Section 551.072. And with that, I'll bring the current session to a close, and we will enter executive session. The time is 6:53. All right, I see the light screen. We're back. So the time is now 7:05, and the council will now resume the regular session. And that takes us to item K1, take any action if needed on the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property in Town Center Main Street, TCMS zoning on East Main Street pursuant to section 551.07. Is there any action on this item?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute development agreement for drainage improvements in an amount not to exceed $25,000 for a term limited to 2 years from date of execution for 400 East Main.
I'll make a second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. That takes us to item L, adjourn. The time is 7:05, and if there's no other items to discuss, hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.
This needs to be heavier.
I like that it bounces around.
Ah,
It takes
darn.
skill to
Thank you.
keep it under the hammer.